what's going on.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with Ophelia Greene. She is the founder of Annie's Gifts of Love. I love that name. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dr. Haze. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. First of all, I want to ask you about Annie's Gifts of Love. How did you create this organization? What was the motivation behind everything?
We organized, this organization was put together in 2015. As a matter of fact, it grew out of my desire to honor my mother, who was a survivor of domestic violence for 25 years. She lived in that. And when she was in those situations, there were, in rural Louisiana, there were no battered women's shelters and places to go like that for help. Or even domestic violence counseling. So she would leave and come back, leave and come back. So I wrote a book in 2015 for a family of survivors. And after writing that book, I thought, it was therapeutic for them. It helped them to kind of give their story, tell their story. And a lot of people don't tell their story, but these stories were told from a child's perspective because they had grown up in domestic violence, seeing one partner abuse another. So telling their story and writing the book for them was a part of the motivation. And then naming the organization, though, I had to lean in and try to do something to honor my mother. I did not, when she was going through all those situations, and it was pretty traumatic and just a lot of violence, I was not able to help her when I was living in that situation with her, because I was in that with her for about 19 years before I went on to college and graduate and all that. But I honor her now in her memory because she went to heaven in 1989. So I honor her with this nonprofit. It was organized in 2015 and coincides with a book that I wrote. We encourage survivors and those who advocate for them, and we serve as a funding source for agencies, advocacy agencies, primarily in the southern sector of Dallas County. So basically the organization was put together in memory of my mother. Her name is Annie Bell Cage, and so it's named Annie's Gifts of Love Charitable Foundation.
Wow, she has to be very proud of you, looking at you from above. As a child, you obviously saw a lot of violence.
I did.
And it's a helpless feeling for a child. What can be done to help a child? Because nowadays, sometimes when people see abuse, they become abusers.
And they do. And you're right. The children who grew up in that, if you have to break the cycle, get the counseling that you need to help you through those traumatic times, and realize that because you were in the family of violence, obviously you didn't choose to be in that family. And even going through that situation, rather, it wasn't your choice. Basically, you were there, but you can choose how you respond to it. Okay, so as a child growing up through and dealing with that, there are options. We can break the cycle. So for me, I didn't have any counseling or anything like that. The Lord just kept leading me in paths that were steering me in the direction that I needed to go to encourage myself and encourage those around me that were in my circle. And so family members and what have you have been encouraged through my walk and through my life. And so at this season of my life, I wanted to do something to give back. So organizing this, creating this organization was a way of doing something to impact the community that would help everybody. But there are services that are available for children, counseling, and on my website, I have even a resources tab that will lead to information that would help with situations where a child might need to be counseled. But in rural Louisiana, we got no service. We received no services, but there are services available now. And most of those services in the state of Texas, you have a lot of battered shelter centers, and especially in this area. We have the family place, we have Genesis, there are Bright Tomorrows, lots of places where children and families are administered to and help through the traumatic time. But after you grow up as an adult, you make a decision, make a choice not to repeat the violence.
So when you say make a choice not to repeat the violence, is it something inside? That's where the counseling has to come in, so you can change your thinking, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. If we think about the pain that was inflicted on us over and over again, we will be defeated. And I believe for a young child going through it, the counselor would help them to, or a coach even would help them to be able to navigate through those moments, because you do have the memories and they do come back, but you have to get beyond. Hey, you have to forgive. as a child. You have to forgive and move on through that. And I believe having the right relationship with a counselor or with a family member, or even your clergyman or someone in your church community or faith-based community could help you through those traumatic times, so you won't revisit them all the time. But I know that when you are going through those kinds of trauma, it does have a mental effect, because domestic violence has it has many faces. It is emotional, it's physical, it's sexual violence, psychological, and even financial. So it impacts all those different areas, and it really does not have any limits. It doesn't favor you if you're black or white or whatever. It crosses all ethnic lines, all social lines, religious lines, economic lines throughout the world. And it really is a pandemic, I would say, or an epidemic, and it's just really, really overwhelming, because in the state of Texas, we have 1 in 3 women who will be in their lifetime will experience domestic violence. And here's another statistic. On an average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. And some of these people have children. And you do have repeats, but what helps that child, I believe, is to seek the right support and right help, and know that they're not alone.
America is so violent now. And
it's so violent.
At home is supposed to be the one place that you feel safe.
Yes. Exactly, and that is so sad, because when the pandemic hit, the perpetrators were the mothers couldn't leave because they were just kind of trapped. In 2020, the violence went up in 2020, and I used to serve on sit on the Domestic Violence Council task force for the city of Dallas. And that task force was designed to hold regular meetings to help bridge the communication between the Dallas Police Department, the DA's office, the judges, and community partners, and faith-based organizations as well. The collaboration was aimed to strengthen the forces in this fight against domestic violence. So it's really a fight.
It's a major fight. We're having a very, very insightful conversation with Ophelia Greene. She is the founder of Annie's Gifts of Love. Now, let me ask you this. For a woman, what's one of the first things a woman should do? Because we want to get your contact information or your website, just in case somebody's listening.
Well, first of all, if you're going through a crisis and you're needing some help, you can escape that abusive relationship. You have to say something. A lot of people don't see the signs. They don't always know that you're experiencing something unless you feel free to say something.
That's important.
It really is. And there are agencies that can provide safe transportation to an emergency shelter and other places, even to relocate you to a state where you may have a relative that will take you in and help you. So don't sit in that situation, because it becomes dangerous. And if you're in an immediate crisis right now, I would say call 911, for help. But yes, they are sheltered. And if you go to Annie's Gifts of Love Charity Fund, actually, Annie'sGiftsOfLove.org, there's a page, a tab that has resources out there that will steer you in the direction that would be helpful. Now, this organization does not provide any resources. What we do is we come alongside and collaborate with organizations and agencies that are able to provide the shelter and the domestic violence counseling and different housing kind of things and different scenarios that you might need, those kinds of services. So we, in collaboration with other organizations, are able to do what we do. So our primary focus really throughout the year is we want to raise awareness, and that's what our goal has been primarily to raise awareness and encourage survivors in the fight against domestic violence, because it truly is a fight. And we do that primarily through our annual Survivors Luncheon. We just held our annual Survivors Luncheon this past, it was May 13th. And at that luncheon, we had invited advocates to come. We had invited prosecutors, and we had a guest speaker. And our guest speaker is a survivor, and that's what we do with the Survivors Luncheon. We bring in a guest speaker who is a survivor, and they come in and share their story, a very compelling story of survivor of survival, and they share this story, and it is a powerful bridge and offers encouragement for those who may be in the audience who are struggling, and or they may know someone who is struggling with the violence, or someone, like, for example, I didn't even realize it, but this really hit home with me, Lynn, back in 2021 when one of my former coworkers, because I really have a full-time job. This nonprofit is non-staffed, it's a nonprofit organization, it's not staffed, no income comes to me or anything like that. I do this just because I want to do something good to impact the community. As a matter of fact, our motto for this organization is doing good works by God's grace for His glory and the benefit of others.
I love it.
That's what we wanted. So doing this, the Lord has shown me several times that this needs to be done. It's a sweet opportunity to encourage and inspire survivors. So that speaker that we get, if you go visit our website, you'll see our former speakers. This is our 7th year, and our keynote speaker was council member from the city of DeSoto, Crystal Chisholm. And so she came in and shared her story, and then we had panelists. One of the DAs from Dallas County came in, and three other counselors, one of them from the family place, and then one from We Are Survivors came in. And then we had one lady come in who's a member of my church who runs a ministry where she actually coaches the perpetrators and teaches them how not to do what they do. So there's a lot to be done. We can't do everything, but everybody can do something.
And it sounds like you're doing plenty just by encouraging and inspiring, because again, information is key. Can you give the website information once again in case somebody just joined us?
Our website is Annie's, that's AANNIES, then the word gifts, GIFTS, of love.org altogether.
All right.
And that'll take you to our website. We just updated it, so it's looking pretty sharp out there, so I'm sure that it'll be easy to sort through it.
If someone just wants to take a look, because sometimes that person may not be ready to take that step, but they may want to get that information so they can see what's available, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's great to have to know where to go. And so I'm just honored to be on your show. I heard your show last night. I think it was Letitia Owens.
Oh, yes.
Your show. I heard your show last time, and it was actually Letitia and I go to the same church, so I know her very well.
She's great.
Yes, you're wonderful. But thank you so much. But yeah, this is amazing that I have been. And thank you for inviting me to do this, because this is really our first time really getting the public to know more about what we do, because we've been kind of like subtle, low key kind of thing. And in 2019, an organization, Genesis Women's Shelter Support, honored our organization with a grant. We don't get many grants because of the nature of our nonprofit. We don't provide the services that others do. So it's really, so when they honored us because we do this innovative good work to address the issues of violence against women and children in the southern sector of Dallas County. And the luncheon that we provide it's free to all advocates and survivors who register. All they have to do is register and come. So we host and sponsor this luncheon once a year, and so we'll be probably gearing up in November, planning who will be a part of it for 2024. So just know that it's an annual event. But not only do we raise awareness through our luncheon, we also raise awareness through our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, of course. And then throughout the year, we do different things, and especially in the month of October, which is the focus on domestic violence awareness, is for that month. But we also support local events and rallies and walkathons and different activities to stand with survivors. And then, of course, I will make a point about make this point as well. We provide small gifts, I would say, to organizations that are in the southern sector when they're working on a particular project and they think we might be able to support them with it. They can apply online for some gift distribution, but they have to meet the IRS requirements for a nonprofit in order for us to consider them for funding. So we serve as a funding source, for advocacy agencies, primarily in the southern sector of Dallas County, and we've had several to apply for support.
And you have been giving quite a bit of support, and we're going to come back and talk more about your support and more. Listen, when you hear these voices, you don't even have to guess who they are. Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, the legendary Ladies of Soul. Father's Day, June 18th at the Texas Trustee Theater with special guest Shantae Moore. A night of music and memories. Keep listening to Smooth R&B 105.7 to win your way in. Or get in at krnb.com.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest Intel Core processors like Thin and Light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. It's the perfect season to power your passions during Dell's Summer Sale event. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to U.S. residents by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
Ed Regal.
Edward, I have a bit of news regarding our beeswax that you may not be aware of.
If you're referring to the new podcast, It's Still Your World, I support it 100%. Why shouldn't I?
Well, some of us prefer not to have our dirty laundry hung out for the world to hear, dear brother.
I see it as a chance to reflect on favorite It's Your World episodes and reconnect with fun characters like LaQuisha, Nikki, Dr. Hackett, Fontella, Redbone, and yes, even my ex-wife, Sarah Rodham Regal.
Did you say Nikki? The love of my life? Well, in that case, I'm in. Of course, I'll have to run it by my attorney. Is someone get Phaedra Parks on the phone?
Hi, I'm Nikki T. Listen to It's Still Your World on Ode, our digital entertainment.
Available now on PLAYODE at the App Store and Google Play.
Smooth R&B 105.7. Let's get back to more of what's going on.
Welcome back. Having a great conversation with Ophelia Greene. She is with Annie's Gifts of Love. She's the founder, and this is connected to domestic violence. Now, earlier you mentioned, and I want to get into this a little bit more, about some of the things women should recognize, because you said it's emotional, even financial. What are some of the phases of domestic violence?
Domestic violence has many faces. I would say emotional abuse, there's physical abuse, you have, of course, sexual abuse and psychological abuse and financial abuse. And the control features of sometimes the partner wants to control, or you can't go this place without him and all. And that's a sign. And if you're dating someone that has that kind of attitude about you, you might want to put that as a red flag and kind of let that, not go too far into that relationship, because that once the person shows you who they are, you have to perceive them. That's what the saying says, right?
So you're saying, like, in a sense of if they're like a little bit overbearing or a little bit
controlling. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you can also, a good test would be if you've been around their mother and see how they treat their mom. Ooh. That could be an indicator as well.
So do abusers, they do abuse their moms, or they're disrespectful?
No, they just disrespectful, just rude, kind of rude. How they, short-tempered, no patience.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Not kind and have a harsh tone. If they're loving and can do anything, they would do anything for their mom. They're probably loving and would do anything for you too. Because that's a sign, I believe. And so that there are many other ones as well. But the control feature. If he has to have if you can't go in and out of your place without him having control over you, then something's wrong with that relationship. And also, if you're out together and that you see signs of jealousy is another one. There may be a little bit of jealousy on that part of your mate or your partner. Warnings like that would be like a warning sign right there. Sometimes when you marry somebody and they show you all the great things that they would do for you and be to you and all that, then you get married and it totally changes. You wonder what happened. Some situations you just really can't control, but you can control how you will react to them and respond to them. And I would not allow anything to control me or even define me like that. because we're all here and we all have a purpose and we're all valuable.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. When we're young, as we grow more mature, you say that. When you're young and you all of a sudden he's like showing a little jealousy, you might think, oh, he loves me. You understand? So those are the things I think even for younger women that they have to be aware of too, that, be able to know the difference between love and control.
Be discerning, be discerning between the love and control. That would be, I think I agree totally with that. Yes, exactly.
Let me ask you about the financial, because a lot of times that doesn't come up.
When a person leaves you, or that you have all this, you're in this relationship, right? You want out of it, right? And you leave the relationship because of the violence, then there's a financial impact on you. Because you were relying on that person's resources pretty much because y'all in it together, and then all of a sudden you're apart. Now you're separated. You're fleeing the relationship because of abuse. But then how do you survive? You got finding a job, finding shelter, all the. So there's a financial. If he is the breadwinner, and usually the men are the breadwinners, then and you're leaving that relationship, then there will be a financial impact on you. Okay, and if he controls all the finances and you have no access to it, then there's another financial impact on you.
And I think that has a lot to do with all of us. We're, sometimes you get in situations and it's like, okay, if I leave this, then financially it's going to be a problem. But especially when you have children.
And knowing what resources are available to you when you're ready to make that move would be planning ahead. But sometimes the crisis you really can't plan. You just need to get out. But there are agencies that will help you in emergency situations to transition. As a matter of fact, I know an organization who will, once you connect with a shelter and they get you placed in that shelter and you're going to be transported somewhere like to Oklahoma or California or wherever, there's an organization that will actually transport you to where you need to be at no cost.
That's really good, because a lot of women are afraid of being in the same city because their abuser can show up to their job, to their friend's house.
Exactly. So it's a devastating. It's really kind of sad to be in America in the 21st century to be talking about the violence, but this violence just continues to grow. So how do you eradicate it? I would say one survivor at a time, in coalition with law enforcement and community agencies and faith-based communities and people who have a passion for helping survivors, especially battered women and their children. That's sort of it in a nutshell, what I think would help in this situation. But of course, eliminating domestic violence, I don't really believe we're able to do it without the whole group working together and being consistent. And even for me, the month of October, we focus on domestic violence in the month of October, but really, I believe it should be foremost in all throughout the year, not just that month. And in order to talk about it, some of the groups don't feel comfortable talking about domestic violence. It's like silent, but I want the people to know that you don't have to be silent anymore.
You said earlier 1 in 3 women have been abused.
Because, women are treated like second-class citizens in some countries. At least we're not treated like that over here. Dallas is doing some great work in trying to eradicate domestic violence, and other communities are. My community, I live in DeSoto, and we have a DeSoto City Council commission, the Domestic Violence Commission, and they're doing some great work to bring the perpetrators to justice and, help make it easier for people, women and children, to live an abuse-free life, by getting the help they need. And so I'm just honored to be able to be a voice and also just to raise awareness, because I have a full-time job that I work every day. I'm an office manager for a company in Arlington. So to do the domestic violence ministry is, like I said, it's doing a good work for the community by God's grace.
We're talking to Ophelia Greene. She's the founder of Annie's Gifts of Love, supporting people in domestic violence situations. And what can we do as a community to help an organization like Annie's Gifts of Love?
Well, we can always use this financial support. Like I said earlier, we can. What we do is provide a free luncheon to inspire and encourage survivors and those who advocate for them. The survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. And so the way we get our people to attend the luncheon is we collaborate with our agencies, and they invite their patrons or their clients to come on a particular the Saturday before Mother's Day each year to encourage them, inspire them, and give away a lot. This past luncheon, which was May the 13th, we actually gave a gift to everyone who attended. It was a special gift, and so to do that takes money, and our primary goal is to be able to assist. And when an organization applies for funding for a particular project, to be able to help them with that financially. And so, for us to accomplish our mission, we need financial support from the community. And so, we've been able to establish a list of individuals who have been helping us over the years. We have been organized for 7 years. But the list of donors can grow. We could use the financial support. And if you as a community person know that someone sees something, say something about it. Don't keep it to yourself. If you see something that this person looks a little different, something's beaten or whatever, you see bruises or whatever on this person, and they've gotten real quiet or depressed or whatever, you might want to kind of investigate a little bit and discreetly to see if you can help. And if they're needing services, direct them to places where they can get the help they need. And of course, on our website, we do have a tab that shows you some resources that are available, which will point them to battered shelter, women's shelters, emergency assistance in different areas. If they're just in a major situation right now, they can call the hotline. There are several hotlines listed there, or they can call 911, 911. And so that's in a nutshell what we're needing. We're just needing funding and just to get the word out that this organization exists, because after 7 years, my vision initially when the Lord gave me this idea to do this to organize this group, we were thinking about having it like downtown, and then I thought, okay, no, I want to serve the community more, so let's have it out south. So it's actually held in the southern sector of Dallas County at the Hilton Garden Inn. Is where we normally have our survivors luncheon. It's the second Saturday, actually the Saturday before Mother's Day each year, and then we do all the other things that we normally do during the year and to help out as we are able. So anyway, gifts are really welcomed all the time. They're welcome. So
now let me ask you, what type of gifts? What type of gifts would you welcome?
It's monetary gifts. We're not able to receive.
Okay, so just monetary gifts. What about the website address once again? Where do people need to donate? Get all the information. Okay. Give us the website.
Okay, the website to donate is AnniesGiftsOfLove.org. That's AnniesGiftsOfLove.org. AnniesGiftsOfLove.org, named in honor of Annie Bell Cage, who was a survivor of domestic violence and lived in it for 25 years. Okay.
Back when our mothers were coming up, it was almost like acceptable, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a normal. That's what I'm saying. So she would leave and come back, because he would talk her into coming back, and all. And I think finally, it just straw that broke the camel's back was the most traumatic thing that she had experienced. She really left to live, and if she hadn't left, she wouldn't be here. She wouldn't have lived as long as she did after that. But she was married and for this my dad, for all those years, and he was a batterer. Bless his heart, he really was a batterer.
So, do you think he was abused too, or saw it himself? Because
you know what, I would say this, Lynne. I believe that he may have been undiagnosed. He might have been bipolar. I don't ever know, because we never even went there, because it was a very rural town, and the resources were very limited, and this was a very underserved community and all. So when I look back over it, I think he may have been suffering a little bit with struggling with the bipolar and all. But she survived it and left and to live, and went on to have a new journey in her life. And she left and went to heaven in 1998.
That has to be very encouraging for you. Where would you like to see your organization in 5 years?
I would love to see that this organization is able to not only host that luncheon that we do, but that luncheon would just grow and more people would come out and be encouraged, and it would be like we're saying like, oh, I'm here. You could be encouraged. Come on in and be inspired. It's okay. There are people who will stand with you. come out, and then I would love to have each of those organizations that are coming out to support this and to be able to support them even more at a higher level than I do. And when I first had the vision that was given me, I saw a Texas stadium full with people, like a rally, that we were all rallying against domestic violence because it's such a plight on America and on the world, the darkness that it brings in the lives of people. And to have, different celebrities be a part of it because they've experienced, there's several celebrities that have experienced domestic violence, but like you said, back then it wasn't talked about hardly at all, it was just acceptable, but now it's not. We don't have to tolerate that anymore. There are services available and sources that we can tap into that will help us, the survivors, to live a better life and even be able to tell their story so that they can inspire others. One more time with the website information before we wrap up. The website is AnniesGiftsOfLove.org. All together. That's ANNIESGIFTSOFLOVE.org. Thank you so much, Ophelia Greene, for sharing all of the things that you offer. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for giving me this time. I appreciate you, and God bless you. God bless you as well. Good information. I'm Dr. Lynne Haze, and that's what's going on.